Hey everyone, this is the Spiritual AF Podcast, and I'm your host, Judd Fink. On this podcast, you'll hear about my personal journey that led me on the path to spiritual growth, the journey of my guests, and the wisdom that we've gained along the way. It's important to me to put this podcast out in hopes that the stories contained in it resonate with the listener and assist people on their own path to healing and growth. I am deeply thankful to even have the opportunity to do this. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, guys. So let's go. And thank you so much for listening. Hey, everyone. This is Spiritual AF Podcast. Once again here with Sunshine Seaheals. And I met her on Purple Ocean, actually. And she's given me several readings and is great. She's a great astrologer, psychic, all the stuff. And she's, 200-hour yoga teacher, just many things. So, well, anyway, Sunshine, how have you been?
I've been hanging in there, Judd. Thank you for asking. A lot happening right now. Big time.
Yeah. Yeah, plenty is going on right now. A lot of changes and everything. Why don't you expand on that a little bit, with all the changes astrologically and all the stuff.
Happy to do that. Yeah. Just know that, we're in for a wild ride right now. I know that a lot of us are feeling it either spiritually or politically in our community with money. Just everything is just exponential right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So like we were talking before and going into the age of Aquarius, right? Here, well, tomorrow, right? Is when it actually changes.
Yeah.
And like, so what is everything that, that comes along with that?
Well, from the whole Piscean era, we have had our matrix, which we got to be grateful for that. So we've got all of that in place. But as you know, the only thing we can count on is change. So the evolution now is now that we have that beautiful firm foundation of the matrix, now the Age of Aquarius is coming into play rather, to be able to build upon that, being able to grow beyond that. But that's our template. That's our foundation. And from there, we have so much exponentially that's been shifting just in the collective consciousness, the Age of Aquarius, as I mentioned, the economic forefront, the political forefront, obviously post-COVID thrivers, everything that's been going on has just really woke a lot of people up. A lot of people are becoming more and more aware. And I call it, really, honestly, in my mind, it's the anti-woke, because whatever was before, whatever, they were programming us to be quiet about with the status quo, is just that everything is the roof has been completely ripped off of that, just that whole reality. Now, I think so many more people, due to the Age of Aquarius and the advent of the internet, are able to really see the forest through the trees and to be able to see, the shadow that has been hidden for so long, which is the Age of Aquarius. It's about humanitarianism. It's about enlightenment. It's about growth. It's about ascension. It's about, the environment. It's about being interconnected. What hurts my brother hurts me. What hurts my sister hurts me. So that's where we're at. And then not only a lot of other things are happening with the planets. We've had a lot of eclipses, rather. We've had a lot of storms. We've had a lot of floods. We've had a lot of mudslides. We've had a lot of fires. We've had a lot of hurricanes. Just Mother Nature is just screaming, just like, help me, please. Pay attention to me, not wake up, please. So that's what I feel like has been really the main, and I could go on and on for hours, but I'm also on an app called Purple Ocean. So I'm a spiritual advisor on there. And since February, I think I've fast tracked upwards of about 3,000 people on that app alone. Not to mention before with my business with the pop-up events and all of that. it's just, I just feel like it's this beautiful snowball that's just helping everybody to move forward right now, and just really opening our eyes together. I feel like we're all rubbing the collective sleep out of our eyes, with the collective consciousness being able, what does that mean? So many different things, because what's spiritual practical, as you know. So it's what we're exposed to in the media, what we're exposed to in the news, what our daily habits are, what we're being honestly fed with, just even TikTok and all of our social media, just the consciousness and the awareness. It's just Richter. I'm just so in love with this era. This is a beautiful time to be alive in the Age of Aquarius and the golden era. And I'm just really happy to be a part of it finally, for once, rather than being, the weird one, the odd one that thought about all this stuff and just maybe embodied this stuff. And I can't really explain it all. I know how I know what I know, but I don't know how I know what I know.
Yeah.
I know, but I don't know how I know what I know.
Right. Just getting downloads and all the stuff, like through spiritual practice, right? And just allowing the stuff to come and trusting it, which can be difficult at times,
That's probably the biggest message for me, has been trust, for real, for sure. Just trusting what's already there. There's already value within. It's really all within.
Yeah. And I know people in my life, myself, have been going through quite a bit, and like shedding old versions of themselves, like coming to a bunch of realizations of what they prefer, what they don't prefer. Like, this is not good for me. I'm moving away from this, and just really a lot of difficult situations that painful. Yeah. And and healing from that stuff, and then just moving forward with the best version of yourself and being authentic, and regardless of what anyone else thinks,
authentic.
Yeah. Right. I mean, and even doing that stuff is difficult because, worried about what this person's going to think, or whomever, a group of people, but it really doesn't matter as long as you're being you. The people, that you resonate with come, right?
Yeah.
And if people leave your life, that's totally fine, because they're going to be replaced by who you are, like you're going to attract those new people into your life and situations and whatever. So, and
it's so hard, to your point, to have family and the matrix and even past relationships and things like that really tether our memories and tether and trigger our PTSD when we're going through this amazing upgrade, which is already, the nervous system is already all like, and the last thing is somebody like reminding you of, like, hey, remember all your fudged up trauma? Hey, you want to revisit that? You want to revisit your childhood? You want to revisit all of these relationship situations? And it's like, our nervous system needs downtime from that. Our nervous system needs time to be able to nourish, strengthen, and heal from the ground up. And it really, I really do feel it being a rebirth. I really see the butterfly. I do see the phoenix. I do feel it. Some days are crippling and I'm bent over with tears, and I'm not even one that cries often. I'm a very positive, even through the face of adversities that I've had with bouts of immune, issues with, breast surgery and cancer thriver, and just really difficult things in my life that I've always been super, super resilient about and super positive. But this one right here, this last one it's that birthing process. It's painful. It's painful when you're rebirthing, when you're growing, when you're coming out of the canal. And that's kind of where I feel like a lot of us are right now. It's literally coming out of the birthing canal, if you will, because we're needing to get out, and we're needing to remember who we are, why we're here, and start all over again. But with wisdom of a warrior, but with the eyes wide open as a child, the wisdom of a warrior, but the eyes wide open as a child, La Vie en Rose, you know, just being able to see things beautifully, to be able to see the beauty in the world, even during the midst of chaos and uncertainty, is really, it takes a mother effing warrior. And I know now, thank you, God, thank you, Ascended Masters, thank you, angels, thank you, Spirit. I'm grateful for all the lessons that you've shown me for who I truly am, but it has been very difficult.
Yeah.
But that's what we incarnated to in this lifetime. I mean, me and you, warriors, spiritual artists, healers, lovers, we wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah. You know, we wouldn't want it any other way. We signed up for this shite. So every time we're getting down on ourselves, we have to remember, take some spiritual motherfucking accountability, because we signed up for that.
Yeah, that's right. And even through this stuff, like you say, you know, rebirth, which is actually very true. It's, you know, it's very painful, very difficult, all the stuff. But through that, yeah, through that though, too, you know, it's bravery. And so what is bravery really? It's just leaning into that stuff that you're uncomfortable with, and then coming to your realizations and realizing why you did the things, what you did, why you acted the way you acted, you know what I mean? And then being able to just let that shit go and step into the new version of you and what actually lines up with you now after your realizations and everything, and taking the action steps forward to, you know, be that person. Because you can't. Yeah.
That's huge. That's like putting the pedal to the metal. That's like putting the fire on the food. Like, if you can't integrate all the wisdom and all the knowledge that you've had thus far that have made you perfectly imperfect and have you exactly where you are in this now moment, they really don't mean anything if you can't integrate it. So those are action steps. And with all my clients, you know, 12K strong, I would imagine exponentially. I've lost count. Who knows? Hypothetically, it doesn't matter. It's just a number, but I know it's up there. Being able to fast track and see that amount of people, it shows exponentially what we can do with our work. So, and I'm taking it for the team. You know, it's
yeah,
not always glamorous. It's not always pleasant. It sucks sometimes. It really sucks, because being a messenger on the other end of a call for coaching or love coaching or career coaching, which I help people pinpoint their pain to purpose to power, can be, I can be shot. You know, it's like, don't shoot the messenger. It's like, I'm here to help you. You know, please. This is painful for me. It's already hard enough for me to do it for myself, let alone, because I was even going to say, when you were saying earlier, like how it's painful, in leaning into those parts of yourself that are your shadow, that are ultimately going to be more of an integrated, holistic version of yourself that's going to be exponentially way better, is whom you've already been anyway. You're just blocked by ego and fear and PTSD that blocked you from all those beautiful things that are already within you. So it's almost about like forgetting and like remembering who you truly are. And so that's process. But I would say, even not only to your point of it being difficult for us to lean into the shadow stuff, that I've gotten pretty good at lately. But now, come full circle, what I'm noticing is that, that you're on a spiritual path. It's a lonely path. It's the lone wolf path. Wolf pack, or path rather, like we talked about earlier. But the harder part is to realize in those cycles, just like everything is a cycle, okay, I've done a lot of work here. Now it's time for me to actually integrate it. Now it's time for me to actually just live in the now. Now it's time for me to have some fun and put it to work, because you can't just live isolated, like in a, you know, we're not living in an ashram. We're not living on the top of the Himalayas. I mean, we are social creatures. We get to be out in the world. And sometimes, you know, a spiritual person having, you know, a physical experience is traumatizing for a lot of starseeds and empaths, because we are so pure and we are so full of love, and the world quite hasn't caught up with that. So that's when we can tend to be insular and tend to have anxiety. That's when we can tend to pull back and not enjoy the moments. But really, it's all about being able to integrate and enjoy those moments. Yeah. Because if we too down in the tunnel, so to speak, we get too down. What does it all matter? You ever have those days where you're like, what's the effing point? Like, is this the biggest cruel cosmic joke ever? Like, yeah. What is the point if I'm doing all this work, if I can't share it with anybody, if I can't give it to anybody, if I can't, love my brother, love my sister, and I'm still waiting for the world to catch up. I'm building my mystery, I'm building my dream, but I'm just waiting for the rest of the world to unfurl out of the matrix so that we can all be free. And I don't blame people. I blame society.
Right.
And I don't want to blame it, because that's not really where the power position is either. It's really just acknowledging it and doing your best. Just what's happening now? What can I do? How can I pivot my pain to purpose to power? But the point I was saying, how you wanted to make earlier on your point to finish this thought was, yes, it is tough sometimes for us to go ahead and look at the shadow. But I'll tell you what, to be for me and a lot of other empaths and healers, and you tell me if this is right for you, it's even harder for us to sometimes stop and pat ourselves on the back and to celebrate and to be able to be enough and to accept, even if others aren't accepting. And to our light rather than our shadow, because we've been doing a lot of shadow work as the healers. We've been called to do that because, of course, we're flagged. We're called out. Like, if you're on social media and you're doing anything that's spiritual, now suddenly you're supposed to be like Jesus or Buddha.
Like you're supposed to be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous because we're all perfectly imperfect. Like, that's not where we're at right now. We're all still baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. And we all need to walk each other home and be gentle with each other and be compassionate with each other.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't tell me that someone's going to be rude to Sunshine Sea or Judd Fink when we've got corporations that are murdering people knowingly. Yeah. Let's get real. Let's drop the T.
Right.
I'm pulling out all the stops. I'm calling you guys out.
Yeah. Like what you said, though, too, like, difficult for me to pat myself on the back. Like, yeah, there's a lot of things that I don't recognize about, what I'm like, take the time to say, oh man, I did a great job there or whatever. Because, it's just, it's just kind of who you are. Yeah. And then it's just kind of what you do. So I guess it's just, maybe you don't recognize it because it's just naturally you, right?
Well, that's good. That's good. Because when we're being the light and we become almost unconscious to our light, that means that we've integrated it and we're not even seeing it as separate from ourselves.
Yeah.
Much like when the people who haven't even called out their own shadow are so busy being in the shadow that they don't even see their own fucking shadow.
Yeah. Right.
Those are the most dangerous. Oh. I don't know if it's more dangerous for someone to not see their shadow or to not see their light. Either way, it's destructive.
Yeah.
You got to be it all.
I think like myself and my past and everything, like definitely dark, and stuff. But I had to go through all that shit, you know what I mean? To learn and say, I'm not going to do this anymore or whatever, and even through that process, trying to be spiritually perfect, like that's fucking impossible. Like it's way too much. And, shutting these parts of myself off that were very beneficial before, like the assertiveness and the what, and the get shit done and whatever, and get my point across. Like that's just me, you know what I mean? A huge part of me, and not caring about what other people thought in the past. But then, through my awakening, which never stops actually, but, however long ago that was, like, oh, I can't say this because like they might get no, like you have to say what you have to say, because if you're not saying what you need to say to any one individual or a group or whatever, you're not giving them the information that they need to make an informed decision for themselves about you, and and that's just you being authentic. That's you being real, and that's totally okay. And you cannot be worried about what their reaction is going to be whatsoever, because it doesn't fucking matter. It matters to you, because that's healing for you to be yourself. And you know, and I shut those parts of myself off trying to, you know, people please, codependent shit and whatever in the past.
Good at it, aren't we?
Yeah. You know, and it's just like, I'm done, you know, with this. And not that I don't have empathy, or of course I do, you know, why do I do what I do? Right. And, but it's just, you know, boundaries overall for myself, or which boundaries for healers are just huge, you know? And
yeah.
So you can shed those old, you know, versions of yourself and just really take care of yourself in the best ways that you can. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, boundaries are really hard for healers because it goes back to, for me, as an attachment style. And I think for most healers, I think we're all innately healers, lovers, dancers,
I agree,
dreamers, poets, artists, and psychics. I think that certain events and circumstances happen to us, and not they happen for us.
Yeah.
In our lives, that we usually respond in either a very polarizing way, typically, unless we're super well adjusted and everything's just mamby-pamby, like perfectly imperfect and normal, quote unquote, whatever the funk that means. So I feel like when we're developing our ego and our psyche when we're growing up, we get those little parts of ourselves to develop. We were talking about this today, to develop a personality, a persona, an ego. And a lot of us were rejected for just being the whole beautiful love lights that we are. Yeah. So got abandoned or abused or disrespected, laughed at, or mistreated. So we actually started developing other aspects of ourselves and our psyche to create a persona and to create a personality and an ego that basically protect us.
Yeah, masks. Yep.
A mask from the world and our wounded ego and our wounded inner child and that's a lot of the work that I've been fast tracking. A lot of us right now recently has been with the inner child and the inner wounding and the shadow and the integration actually of the dark femme and the dark masculine, to be able to integrate those sides of ourselves that we were afraid to be because they're powerful or they're rejected by society or family or norms, societal norms, so to speak, whatever that is. So that's where we created these fragmented aspects of our wholeness, of our divinity. And we didn't know, like, it sort of almost goes to me like the Garden of Eden, you know, like Adam and Eve. It's like, how did they even, why is this bad to touch and have the fruit of the tree and to touch and to love? Like, this is why we're in the body, you know, this is why we're in the physical body. So a lot of it is from fear, and a lot of it is programming, and a lot of it is ego, and that's what we're shedding right now. I feel like that's what we're shedding right now. We're rebirthing, renewing, shedding the skin, coming out of the butterfly cocoon. And that butterfly, before it gets out of that cocoon, that larva, that pupa or whatever it's called, caterpillar, has to bang so hard up against that wall in order to be as strong as it needs to be to come out as a butterfly.
Yes.
All of it's happening for you. But now it's about reclaiming, I feel right now, the simplicity and the purity and the essence of who you are without all of the stories and all of the blocks.
Yeah.
And allowing yourself, honestly, to just be vulnerable, zero F's given.
Yes, exactly. What you're just saying goes back to the, you know, societal norms and judgment and everything. And then we're judging ourselves based on shit that doesn't line up to us, like who we really are, you know, whatever that is.
And the Bible, I mean, that's all indoctrined, you know,
into us.
Codes and based a lot on limitations and based on fear and based on judgment. So we still live under the guise of that very much today. And I feel that if you look at the Piscean era, which is now ending and crumbling, and you can see it happening in the politics. The whole political structure was completely turned upside down on its head because we finally started to see the real players. The masks came off and the allegations were huge. And even somebody who we would think would be a president was, on trial. There's just the craziest things to get us to see that these people are human beings too. Mm-hmm. They're capable of being flawed. Just because they have geniuses in some aspects and extent doesn't mean that they're going to be homogenized. I mean, they're not a robot. They can't run around and just be like AI, which is what they probably want for us now moving in the future. They want us to be doped up and numbed up and dumbed down. And now that's changing. And that was the Piscean era. It's jails, corporations, banks, institutions, marriage.
Yeah.
Okay. Big pharma. Every single thing that has been binding us, that has limited us, has given us a beautiful platform, hopefully for us to get out of that cycle of the matrix and the trap, to now unplug, untether us from that machine, a cog in the wheel of their big dynamic, their big nightmare. It's not a dream. It's not my dream.
Yeah.
Not my dream.
If it doesn't
my dream.
Yeah.
Go to school, be in debt, work for a corporation, slave your life away under fluorescent lights, get married, be in debt some more, and pay taxes and then die. Hey, man, that's an American nightmare.
Yeah. Life is meant to live, but we are the creators of it. We're supported positively or negatively based on our thoughts, what we believe about ourselves. And that judgment is the biggest thing. It's, judging other people isn't like, I'll speak for myself. Like, it's not difficult to not do that because I understand, human condition and all the things just based on everything that I've been through myself. But the judgment of yourself is the biggest thing, right? And overcoming all the shit and those thoughts and just like, the not enough, and then teaching people that and giving them the tools to do so, like you and I do, right? Where it's just paramount to move forward with the, to move forward into the life that you want to live. And, like you said before, structures, norms, marriage being one of them. Like, man, unconditional love is like letting that person go and do what they need to do to figure out who they are,
Yes.
And if you're not happy, go find out what makes you happy. You don't know yourself until like you let go and go. Some people don't do much. Some people go fucking nuts, with like, like finding out who they are and everything. But in overcoming those fears, you're just going to find out more and more and more of who you are when you lean into it. It's what bravery is. Bravery is just the constant leaning into of what's uncomfortable, what the unknown, right? But you're going to find out everything that you need to find out about you, who you are.
Right. Hallelujah. And as creatures of habit, that's the hardest freaking thing. That's the human condition. That's the paradox of that why we're here is to, in my opinion, 50% learn to overcome the negative traits that you have and 50% to monetize your God-given spiritual gifts and help the world and give back without any attachment.
Yeah.
That's where we're at with the Age of Aquarius. Whereas the Pisces, you'll notice before, it kept us all tethered. It kept us all in codependent relationships, not interdependent relationships, but very codependent relationships, and not even symbiotic relationships. I did mention Big Pharma. I did mention university. I did mention, I don't think I missed any of them. Can you think of any other, Judd, that would have been a Piscean era that would
no,
mind?
I think you hit all of them. Like,
any system.
Yeah.
Oh, the music industry, the Hollywood, the film industry.
Yeah.
That's a huge one that everybody just, prostitution.
Yeah.
The strip clubs, sex trafficking. Any of that, even, using drugs for, positive things like,
Oh, yeah, that's a huge one. Like,
stepping out of the Piscean era and using it as medicine rather than as something to
no.
numb or take you into the Neptune Piscean fantasy.
Yes.
It's making you wake up, I should say, rather than making you be unconscious and be in a fantasy.
Yeah, using it as a tool to progress. Yeah, to heal. To come to your realizations and stuff. I know that I've used, psilocybin in the past for that exact reason, to come to some realizations and release shit from the past.
They don't want psilocybin. And why do you think they don't want MDMA? Those are the ones that bring you awaken to your heart.
Yeah, there's several different ones, even what ketamine is a thing now. And like, it's just whatever helps you out that goes straight to your subconscious, right? Because your subconscious is what actually controls everything. Everything.
Now, let's touch on that, and you can elaborate on that. But most people don't understand the laws of manifestation and the law of attraction. It's a very confusing, we had a lot of mixed messages to where people really don't know how it works. So I'm going to share, and you can share, or you share what you have, because I know we're both really good manifestors, actually. What has worked for you and what you would share with our listeners and our viewers as to what has worked in your journey so far, thus far.
Well, what's worked for me is just action steps, like shedding that old belief and repeating to yourself, like, no, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like when those thoughts come up, and actively staying there, being in the moment, because like that's exactly what it is, just being in the moment. Because what gets us stuck is, our past, which projects into our future based on our subconscious beliefs, right? And and moving into the future, what is there actually to be afraid of? Like nothing. Even if you die or whatever, what is there to be afraid of about that? Like, I mean, who gives a shit?
I want to live a long
Oh, you know what I mean, though. Like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen when you find out more of who you are? Right? You're just overcoming fears and progressing into the life that you want to live. And it is just trusting and letting go of all the attachments too, and being open to whatever comes based on who you are. And
but what happens in the ego? I mean, let's talk about the ego. The ego thinks it's going to die.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing.
Yeah, the protection part of your ego, right?
Which is also psychology, which was also in the Piscean era. Talk therapy.
Yeah.
And drugs to numb out.
Yeah.
To numb your gifts.
Yeah. Yep. Even I myself, in the past have taken, psychological, medications and stuff. And
when you're born, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. It's fine.
I was going to say, when you're born, I found this thing so cool recently. I heard when you're born into a Native American tribe, when you are born and you have a special gift, as we all have a special gift, they actually listen to your gift and your messages, and they honor you, even if you're on the spectrum, which we all are on the spectrum, BTW. There's a sexual spectrum, there's a psychological, there's a spiritual. It's all a big spectrum. It's not, 100%, ever, right? It's always in flux. It's ever changing all the time.
Yeah.
I could wake up tomorrow and it could be Groundhog Day, and I could regress and digress back to before I did my awakening, and then I would be all bummed out and beat myself up about it. But I'd be like, oh yeah, the reason that I'm upset about it is because I realize now that I've actually grown. So that's why I'm upset. But I shouldn't be, because that's normal. I'm just digressing, but then I'm going to go back to where I was. I can't unforget that stuff.
Right.
Spiritual growth. But what the hardest thing is for us is to unforget the bad stuff. Yeah. Because we frame it as bad stuff when actually it happened for us in order to show us a lesson, karma, who we are, our strengths, our what we don't want in life, what we do want in life.
Yeah.
when the natives have their, their tribes member have a gift, they're all like taking notes, celebrating, why somebody's talking about purple people showing up. That person has maybe clairsentience, or all the clairs, or a clair that was never even a clair before, so there's always going to, what we can always count on is evolution and growth and change. And we can also always count on going back and measuring it and moving forward. And art, it's like art doesn't appear in a vacuum. Art is the collective expression of all the things it's ever tasted, touched, and smelled. And by the way, we have all experienced the similar stuff. So of course our art's going to look kind of similar until somebody comes and maybe does acid and paints a Picasso. And then we're like, holy moly, is that how you really see me? So it's always hopefully going to be evolving, but there are rare times people and special people that come about and they see and feel things differently than anybody ever did, with their own collective remembering plus their own experiences on top of that make it a special vision, that make it a special angle, a special facet that nobody's ever quite described it or seen it or experienced it in that quite exact way. And let me tell you, when you leave this realm in this human form, this meat suit, your art and your gift and your voice is never going to be expressed again in exactly the same way ever. So that is why it is so important for us to fast track our team and our soul team, and to have a soul team and have ancestors and have the ascended masters to be able to come down here and double the funk down to get these people to evolve past the darkness that we are seeing the polarization of right now, because it's all right there. It's all in our face. You can't deny it anymore, that there's not a shadow and a dark web and all these dark aspects of all this light, because the shadow wouldn't be there if there weren't so much light, right? It's just the polarization. You better pick a side and you create your shadow. Like, let's say you're really good at hot wiring, just a hypothetical, or you're a good chemist and you make drugs. You better be the new age medicine man or woman, or the person that can actually fix any of the vehicles when anything goes down, for the good of others. Not for malintent or self-serving, prophecy or gratification or whatever. Or money, whatever.
And
better be pivot that pain to purpose, to power, and use the mofo out of that, because that's what's going to help you ascend up level. That's what's going to give you more abundance, law of attraction, give you more karma. So it's not about shunning those shadow parts of ourselves, like you and I have experienced. Embrace your sexuality, embrace that you're a love, embrace that you're a healer, embrace that you're real, embrace that you're raw, embrace that you've experienced things that the universe and the world, I should say, more the matrix thus far, has used so much of us and literally flooded out Mother Earth to ride on the back and piggyback the funk out of all of her resources without giving shite back. So now you better know, okay, how do I help heal that? How do I help heal her? How do I help heal myself? It's all the same. You use all that time and energy and that greed for something good this time.
And to be a healer too, like, you don't have to be, perfectly healed or what, you know what I mean? Like, that was a thing too, like, that I've heard or thought even myself, where, oh, I'm not progressed here, like I haven't healed this yet. It's just like, no, if you have the knowledge, you're in your practice, this is who you are and stuff, like, you have the great ability to help others still and serve. That's the whole point, is serving other people and doing the work. That's
the thing too, is literally, it's like serving from wherever you're at, because we wait in a scared perfectionism. We're waiting in the shadows, scared perfectionism, when we're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to be perfect in order to go ahead and help anybody. You're going to hold your breath forever.
Right.
You're not even live. And I think that's what a lot of us feel, as if we're being judged so hard, yet we're doing the best that we can. And then it's like shooting down, it's throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
It's like, go fuck yourself. Like, are you doing anything? What are you doing?
Right. Oh, the people who judge. Yeah. What are you doing? Exactly.
What the heck? At least I am embracing my fears. At least I am acknowledging what I've done and trying to do best with what I have, because hurt people, but it's not about what happens, it's what you do about it. It's not what happens to you. It's what you do about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening for you. So shite. I might be good at hot wiring cars. I might be a good dark femme. I might be good at figuring out recipes and chemistry because I was interested in that from a malice place, but now I'm interested in it from a, Breaking Bad I'm going to, save someone from cancer. I don't know, just hypothetically, whatever. Just, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to, it's all, the point is it's all perfect.
Yeah.
It doesn't be a freaking story that's palatable with a bow at the end just for somebody else to feel safe.
Yeah.
Why do they feel unsafe? That you've pivoted your pain to purpose to power? Guess why?
Because they're not being authentic, because they haven't done it. So it's a jealousy thing. Actually, it's because they're still bearing the parts of themselves that are, that need to come out. And that's the whole thing, like, that we were talking about before, like being sexual.
Ion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like being sexual people, like if you're a one person, I just want to be with one person, then if that is what lines up to you, that's fine. If that's not you and you communicate to the other individuals, then also fine. It's whatever lines up to you. And like male, female, it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I mean? Like, if people want to go explore, live their lives, find out more of who the fuck they are, find out if they do prefer this or that or not or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
try it out.
Yeah. Like, how do you know? And that's the other thing, like the judgment part of, having a lot of partners or whatever. I've had a lot of partners, like, so, I mean.
Me too.
So, yeah. So like, oh, I'm a slut. Like, no, like, who cares? Like, it's not like I'm out here, hurting anyone, or as long as
what's worse though? Like, hurting someone, loving someone. Come on.
Exactly.
And as long as you're not trying to hurt anybody and you're coming from love, even if like you're hurt from your own childhood, like we all are.
Yeah.
As long as you're working on it and you're forthright about it and you're transparent about it,
then what's wrong with it? Yeah.
You can have more than one soulmate, and a lot of us are dynamic, and we might need more stimulation and maybe test drive some things.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, go out and, just do whatever to everyone. You know what I mean? But like,
I love sex. Okay.
Yeah.
I know we're both very creative sexual people, but let's talk about sexual manifestation too.
Okay. Yeah. The power of that and like using your sexuality to manifest, like your sexual energy to manifest. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so that's where your creative center comes from. It's from, your sacral. Exactly. Yeah. And so the people, and that's the other thing, the people with the most sexual energy are the best healers, right?
Thank you.
So like, and those people are just being themselves, and there is a lot of healing in the act of sex, like allowing the other person to be seen, felt, loved, unconditionally loved in those moments and everything, and safe, right? And being that safe space for the other person. And it's not like, this, I don't know, aggressive, even though like there's a time and place for that too. Like, so like, it's just the whole mesh of everything, and the mix, the balance of the masculine and the feminine in those moments, and like just being all encompassing that safe person for the other individual involved, right? And that's just what it is. And I know that I've provided that for others, a lot of people. No, not like, but yes, plenty,
Oh, I died.
Yeah. But whatever, it doesn't matter,
It reminds me of a friend of mine, a bartender I used to work with at this really nice high-end Spanish tapas bar when I was in my 20s. I was this bar star, and he was this funny guy. He was just such a great bartender. He always make these drinks for everybody. He'd shake them up and they'd be all yummy and go, "Oh, you want to try one of my bills? Creamy dreamy?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Sexual in your nose. And he used to always say, another blonde in black, he was always saying these funny little comments. I used to love his one of my favorite things he would say is, oh God, am I going to forget? It's the cutest. It's, anyway, it's about just, he loves everyone. I know. Yeah. I love I got it. I love everyone and you're next.
I love everyone and you're next. Oh my gosh.
I totally feel that because I am a healer, as you know, I'm a lover. And so
yeah,
as a woman, having being very physical, and I was always a dancer and always super active and still am, after my foot injury and all that stuff, I'm just getting my stride back again. And been an athlete like yourself, I know you, total athlete, and just being really good at all those things because you put your whole body and your soul and your passion into it and everything about you. And it became your love affair. Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole reason that I was even doing it was just for acceptance because of my old shit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I'm going to be seen. I'm going to be known. I'm going to score. I'm going to be the hero, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And like how those versions of us, like going through that too and going deep and whatever, is just to come to those realizations of like why I did that shit, like why I was even like wanting to do any of that stuff. It was really healthy for me at the time because my mind is fucking just going 1,000 miles an hour, right? All the time.
So, sign of intelligence. You are very hyper. You're very intelligent. You're very physical. You're very passionate. You're very cerebral as well as myself, energetic. So that's why we work with, have you ever heard of Sasha Cobra's work?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
And then did you ever see that really great Netflix about sexual blueprints? You got to check that one out.
I've not. Nope, I have not.
But I think it goes over maybe like 5 different sexual blueprints. And I'm like, all 5. I'm like, oh, great. I like every those things. check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a lover.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. Very much so. I just want everybody to live, happy lives, and whatever that is for them, And
so the blueprints, you might resonate with this before we get off the topic real quick, is I think one is an energetic, one is a sexual, one is a kink, and one is a romantic. And then I want to say that there's one more. So it's basically the taboo, whatever's taboo, which is a floor. And that's a big, sexual, that can create a lot of chemicals in the body of whatever taboo. And the way that I've reframed it is, if it's taboo, then if I love it, it's even more beautiful.
Yes.
Because to hate something and denounce something is not the same as being empathic and compassionate and actually loving it.
Yeah.
And away the negativity and the shadow in that, because it's all part of the human condition. We all feel fragilities and insecurities and quirks and tics and vulnerabilities and kinks. So I was very strong in the energetic category because I'm really into energy. So with the energetic sexual blueprint, it's all about anticipation. So it's picture yourself in a room getting ready to be massaged. It's that anticipation, or even before the date, or even if you were doing like dating different women, like getting ready to like see that person on the date, and just the whole almost wow when you meet each other, and how that dynamic is going to unfold, like how you're going to be acting, what you're going to be talking about, how you're going to be open or unfolding, how someone's going to move, or how someone is going to nuance a body language. That's very much an energetic.
Yeah.
And that building of that sexuality, which is very much foreplay. And we are tending to be more along those lines. But healer men tend to be more along the lines of energetics, because they want to connect with the energy and the anticipation and all the nuances of it all, because it's all sex. It's all love.
Yeah.
It's all, we are making love to the universe and every part of the day, if we choose to see it and frame it in that way, really. We're yoking and undulating with the divine sensually by eating a nectarine, because that is all God and creation and sensuality. And we're taking it all back to the sacral, which is sexual, which is our gut. And so it's this dance of the water and the emotions and the birth and the sexuality and the sperm and the egg and the, you know, everything we're doing. Yeah. Merging with the divine, if you will. It's all really a very sensual thing. Then you got the romantic, who likes maybe the roses and the candles and all of those beautiful nuances. And then the other one, I think, is the kink. Yeah, I think those are all of them. The kink is obviously the one that's going to like something that's taboo. Something maybe can come from a shadow wound that they could maybe not be over if they were abused or something. I've gone through that. So it's you know, that they might become, not in my case, but you could become a predator if you were abused. You could become user if you were abused. And then the highest form of it obviously would be to love and forgive everyone, and to become just all love, and to not have those triggers and that PTSD. And then the other one, I think, was the sexual, which is just liking body parts, liking looking at the whole raw aspect, almost as if you're watching a porn or something. Just, we like hair, pubic hair, and we like, you know, the female,
whatever you like.
Just the actual visual of it, if you will. It's also cool. And then I think that's all of them. Yeah, the romance, the energetic, the kink, and the sexual. And I think was one more. I think it encompassed all of them, and that's what I felt like it was.
I would say that I definitely would encompass all of those things.
You wouldn't let me down.
You know,
being on the edge here. Am I the only one?
Oh no, you know, and
then manifestation. So taking all of that energy,
yes, and putting it into whatever you want to create, you know, for yourself, and moving towards that, because, like, you know, it's very instinctual as far as sexuality goes, like to just go after, I mean, for me, like whatever it is, you know, and being okay with it, and just like, yep, this is gonna happen. Well, if you apply the same thing into like whatever you're manifesting for your life, I mean, it's the same confidence, it's the same shit, it's, you know, it's the same energy, it's what you're creating, right? It's just we're so, you know, sexually driven, you know, on the human, you know, plane of stuff, where it's literally all the same energy, you know. It's just we don't trust it because of you know, conditioning, like what's in front of our face, shit that's happened to us and whatever. So it brings up fears about, oh, I'm not good enough, smart enough, whatever. But if you're confident in this area or this area or this area, you can apply that to anything, you know, and just use that to create the things that you are good at. Trust that. Use that template to fucking go and move forward, you know?
Can go. Yeah, no, it is true. Like, you know, you're a Scorpio, I'm an Aquarius. And I tend to get along with Scorpios because I am a rebel as well. And, you know, Aquarius is we march to the drum of our own beat, and definitely, or is that the beat of our own drum?
Beat of our own drum, yeah.
Beat of our own drum.
Sorry,
and yeah, making up stuff. That's an Aquarius.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we're definitely, like, if you get in a room, Aquarius and a Scorpio, they're going to be talking about how they're basically building their own universe, them against the world, and you better join because it's going to be a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of, that's what's happening planetarily, right? Remember we were talking about that?
I don't remember. Go ahead.
Tomorrow. Remember?
Tomorrow? Oh, yeah. Yes.
So that's ruled by Scorpio is going into Aquarius, which Aquarius has been in Capricorn for 22 years, mofos. It's been restrictions and karma and difficulty and figuring out my job and all of that, make the dala and be all like traditional. I'm not that. Okay, I'm Aquarius. So here we go. And Pluto's
Scorpio. Yeah.
Aquarius. We are rebels with a cause. So look out. It is finally that weight is do you feel it? I'm feeling it. Like I've been really tired lately getting upgrades.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. I've been definitely going within, and just, stepping forward and creating shit too. Like,
what's that feel like for you?
Oh man. Well, recent events in my life have caused me to go within, and just let go. Learn to let go, trust, and just move into the things that line up to me, and letting go of those, just old bullshit beliefs, right? And just in the not trusting, like, oh, this might not work because of this. Well, if you never know unless you go, right? And
I like that saying.
Yeah.
I've heard that saying, you never know unless you go.
Yeah. So, but I was, at points, being held back because of a relationship, right? Because I was wanting to be in that, wanting that to work and whatever. And then it's just like, it gets to the point where it's like, okay, it's not working. Yeah. It's not working. Fuck it. Like, wish you well. Love you, love you unconditionally, but got to do it from afar.
Exactly. I mean, I feel like for the collective, especially the empaths and the starseeds, that's probably one of the biggest things that's been happening in the last several years is that people have been literally removed from our environments for us to be able to really focus on healing and to focus on moving forward and doing our path and doing why it is that we're here, and that if we didn't have those people, places, and things removed and we didn't call our power back, we would not be helping the planet ascend right now. So it's really pretty cool.
And so even through that, like, I know we've talked before, like where you feel the things in your body, right? And what I went through here before, like in my solar plexus, in my sacral, just that the thought, that the thoughts that come up and like where you feel them in your body. And it's just like, oh, like this hurts so much, because of these traumas from before. And yeah, you can realize all the stuff. And like you said, not fully healed, whatever. I don't think anyone is ever actually fully healed until they completely let go and stop giving a shit about everything, anything that they're attached to. You know what I mean? And
I'm working on it.
Yeah. But like where those feelings come up in your body, and I teach this stuff, you know what I mean? The somatics and everything, like, and leaning into that and just, being able to recognize it and then let it go. Right? Because those feelings want to come up. They want to be recognized for you to acknowledge them. Right?
Yeah.
And
somatics somatics is huge.
Yeah. And, so healing, so like just, and it's been around forever too. I mean, it's that the somatics just been around forever, all the different modalities of it, right? However many there, I mean, it's endless pretty much, but what I found too is like it's breath work that brings up the most in the shortest amount of time.
Say, how powerful is breath work?
Yeah.
That is my favorite thing, I think, ever. And I've done a lot of modalities. Mm-hmm. Breath work to me, and I tell it to all my clients as much as I can, to everyone I can, is basically putting yourself in a trance. It's uncomfortable sometimes. It's awkward. It's weird. But when you pierce through each of those chakras, like today I did the breath work with Kundalini yoga, actually, with her name is Yogi Gems, Gems, as in a gem. Mm-hmm. She is a gem of a lady. She's so wise. I think she's English or South African or something. But anyway, she's Yogi Gems. She's on YouTube. And she's just amazing. She's probably in her 60s, I would guess. Just so regal, just so demure, just so graceful, so elegant, just has such a vernacular of knowledge and wisdom when it comes to energetics. And that's basically what it is it's piercing the veils of the chakras and moving up the energy, up the Kundalini highway, the Kundalini Express.
Yeah.
And I love it. As a yogini of over practically 25 years, breath work is, if you don't have the breath, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
And if you can put the breath work, in with the yoga, it's mastery.
Yeah.
It's exponential. It expedites the shite out of your system.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be feeling like today I'm feeling a lot of tension in my shoulder blades, like behind my heart. And I'm trying to get up into my high heart and up into my 8th chakra. Yeah. And I was doing breath work, and I could still feel I have a little bit of an injury there on my right shoulder blade, and it attaches to the neck. And I use my hands a lot with work, and I'm very active and stuff. So I'm prone to taking on a lot, and the shoulders represent the responsibility. Mm-hmm. So I was doing all this breath work today, where you twist and twist and you're opening up this heart chakra, the high heart actually is what you want to open up. And so I'm doing this with her, and I can literally feel it immediately, like flood that energy and open it up, and nothing else works like that. Sorry, not sorry. So if we look weird, doing the Om Namo Gurudev and all that, and chanting and getting in the zone and asking for Sat Nam, asking for truth, which is Kundalini energy, is I am that, I am truth. It's so beautiful how it just brings you back to that homeostasis. It brings you back to that homogenic. I guess that's not the word. Homeostasis would be the word. Yeah.
Yeah. Home.
Just brings you back to your
back to in balance. Yeah.
Home. Basically home. And relaxing the nervous system and opening up the meridians and opening up all the organs. There is even a breath where, that's another thing about Kundalini yoga that's so cool. I've just recently learned is that yoga, Kundalini yoga is the only yoga that is what's known as prescriptive yoga. So basically what that means is you can take a prescription as in a certain type of breath work, and it is prescriptively diagnosed and prescribed, I should say, or whatever it is that you're going through, whether that is that you have extra, this is going to sound gross, but like junk in your intestines, that breath actually helps to bring carbon dioxide and release all that stuff and get the good energy and the good breath in there to help flush those areas and help detox every aspect of not only fix, but the organs and everything else involved.
It's actually amazing, like, because however you define something is what's true, correct? So like even in these breathwork sessions, like, hey, I'm going into this breathwork for this purpose, or you might be going into the breathwork session not knowing what the hell to expect, and whatever comes up, right? But when you believe it, like, hey, I'm going in here for this healing, right, for myself, and I want this to come up, and you set that intention. I mean, if that's in your head, that, moving forward, the likelihood of that actually being the case is so much higher than rather, with you having the intent of doing so, rather than just showing up and whatever happens. You know what I mean? And like delving into this type of breath work, that type of breath work, or not even breath work, it's whatever somatic work, whatever healing work, right? Period. And when you are of the belief that this is going to work, then that shit will work if like you have this solid foundation of belief behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the yogis, I mean, they say math is like a science. It cannot fail because it's strategic breath linked with certain movements that activate certain areas of the body and open up certain areas of body and help heal. There's stuff for your organs. There's stuff for your, it's like cleaning the inside of your body. But I feel like the breath work, so powerful, so exponential. I have experienced yoga every day for a lot of years, but I have never, ever experienced that much of a change. And I love it because it feels immediate as well.
It's quick. It's really, yeah. Yep. And the stuff that
you can feel
in a fast track. I mean, fast
tracks.
Yeah. Like whatever.
A lot for years of therapy.
Yes. That's the other thing. Like the years of, and I'm not against therapy or anything. I've been in therapy myself. You know what I mean? But like talking about the same shit over and over again just keeps you where you are,
No,
right?
no,
Like,
you literally have to shake it up from the nervous system, from the DNA, from your
correct.
cells, your lineage, from your story, from
Yep.
every part of yourself.
Correct.
And the only that, right, is to shake up the breath and to shake the body and move the body,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. To move forward. Yeah.
And the mind is the last, I think, to catch up.
Yeah.
But it can change your moment. Like I know when you're feeling really emotional and you sit there and you do breath work, you can cry and you can purge and you can release stuff and you can make stuff
Mhm.
happen a lot faster than if you were to just sit there because it's going to get lodged. Typically, it's going to get stuck.
Yeah. And it wants to come up too. You know, you have to allow it to do so.
Yeah.
Instead of holding on. Like, and it is getting out of the mind and into the body and just like letting the breath breathe you, basically. Right. And so, but it's that, you know, it's overcoming that barrier too, and like trusting that, like, oh shit, like I'm feeling all these sensations in my body and everything, and then just like pushing through that and keep going, you know, like because that's when all the stuff starts to come up, all the releasing, all the, you know,
And some stuff is so uncomfortable. Like
yeah,
I've done some of Yogi Jump stuff, and some of the shite that she's doing is weird. I'm like, if anyone sees me doing this, they're gonna think I'm nuts
who
because
cares? Yeah,
like does stuff like
yeah, 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 yeah. It's just movement. Yeah, and actually also, yeah.
it works. Whatever.
Oh yeah,
It works.
it works, right? But like movement in any form, like when you're in a whatever a depressed state or whatever, movement, like you're referring to movement right now, is progressive and healing. As long as you start somewhere and get moving, even small steps turn into big leaps, you know, and the repetitiveness of that, like trusting it, moving, going, letting go, and just keep going, you know, and that because that healing will happen. The people will all everything that lines up to it will just happen automatically. Like you won't even have to try, you know, as long as
I
you just
know.
keep going, you know.
Yeah, and we get in our own way, we get in our own patterns, we get in our own thought, about it, and
Mm-hmm.
we project all over this ourselves. I think if I could do one thing to the world, I don't even know if I would want to do that. I'm taking that back. I might recant that. Because if I was going to say, if I could do one thing to help alleviate so many of my clients and so many people that I know and love and care for, it would be to help to forget the memories.
Mm.
Because I think that the one thing that keeps us in that story and can trigger us so much and keep us in that PTSD is the story. And when that's why one of my favorite quotes and sayings to a lot of clients is, "You're the director of your own movie. You're the best actress. You are the supporting cast. You can fire anybody that you don't like in that film. You can hire a whole new cast. It is your film. It
Yeah.
is your movie. So please choose wisely. Please choose a film that you really like the character and
Yes.
the main character that is you, because you're not the best supporting actress of anybody's movie, is actually winning. And that you really resonate with that character and that story, and that's the story of your life. Like if you were to get anybody to play the story of your life, who would it be? What's your theme song? What would it look like? What would it feel like? And if you're not clear on what that is, you better start getting clear on it, because nobody else is going to get clear on it. A doctor's not going to get clear on it. A therapist is not going to get clear on it. Nobody knows you more than you know yourself.
Yep.
And know thyself is like a great sage saying. I forget who said that, but
Yeah.
know thyself. Probably Hippocrates or Socrates or
Yeah. Socrates. Right? Socrates. But yeah, like no,
Why are you laughing?
no, just a joke I made there. But
Did you say something?
I said Socrates, you know how it's spelled. But yeah, Socrates. That's all. But but yeah, it is know thyself. And you know what? Like where you learn the most is alone, right? And that shit can be, super, lonely and taxing and everything, and in isolation. But like, man, that's when everything is actually quiet, right? And you can go within and you can do all that stuff. And as long as you're not going and doing same old shit that you've always done, or having those same thought patterns and whatever, like, that's your time. There's so many tools out there, so many people to talk to, so like whoever you resonate with, whatever you resonate with as well, that's going to work for you. And as long as you're in this practice and you're able to let go and you're in that solitude and whatever, man, shit just it works out. The healing is there, and
is there. The lone wolf path that I was sharing with you earlier, that I talked about earlier as well, is a truism right now. I feel a lot of people have what they call in the animal Native American world and lore, is in their traditions, is an animal spirit. So an animal spirit is your totem, and it's sort of your energy, because every single thing that's animate or even inanimate has an energy, has a vibe, has a signature, a soul signature. So getting in touch with those different aspects of ourselves, whether that's the dolphin or the shark or both, which I feel like you probably have both too. Dolphin are very, playful. They're very sexual. They're very intelligent. They're high energy, high level. But the shark feels everything. So you can have those two, almost conflicting, if you will, for that beautiful balance of your soul signature. And hawk is one of mine, and the wolf, I've noticed, is recently one of mine. And I hadn't really ever resonated and accepted that before. I was just like, oh, the wolf, whatever, they're cool. They kind of freak me out a little bit. Now I'm like, wait, the she-wolf, the wolf, the leader of the pack, the lone wolf, the teacher, because they are the teacher.
Yeah,
I'm like,
get it more.
I'm that, and I'm like really embracing that wolf aspect of myself right now. And it is a lonely time for a lot of us wolves, but, and here it is. I have my wolf over here somewhere. Oh, wait, whatever. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a wolf little crystal. I'm like, but when we come back to the tribe, to our soul tribe, after we've done the hunting and we've gone through the dark night of the soul in the woods alone, and we've gone through it, and we've slayed whatever we needed to slay, and learned that we could survive and thrive and fend for ourselves. Oh my gosh, we're so much stronger for the pack. We're so much stronger for our tribe and
humanity, right?
And humanity. So, and it is a lonely path to be a healer, and there is a lot of work. We're on the spiritual front lines. Think of it like a spiritual war, because that's what it is, of light and dark, and sort of the sussing out of the polarization and jockeying for power and position and all that stuff, and finding a new earth. And we're literally like the freaking medics with the finger on the ephemeral pulse of society and humanity, and keeping people on life support, like literally keeping people alive, and just being like, we're going to get through this, and tourniqueting stuff and stopping the blood, and and rejuvenating people, and letting people have rebirths, and breathing them back to life, if you will, so that we can all be on the tribe, and it's just not us. It has to be, everybody has a gift.
Oh my God.
Right now that they haven't woken up to. Why? It's not their fault. It's the matrix. It's their families. It's generational curses. It's the timeline. It's the generation. It's the time. It's the period. It's the Piscean era that told them, get married, go to college, get married, get your whatever, all that pension, the house, blah, 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 blah. Have the 2.5 kids, the nuclear family, and everything's going to be groovy Tuesday, get your promotion and all that kind of stuff. It didn't happen like that. A lot of people got divorced. They lost their jobs. They lost their families. They got sick. And then the whole medical industry comes in. And then they get all confused with that.
Yeah.
Big takes them down a rabbit hole, and they're lost. So we have to be very compassionate, because it is the system. It isn't necessarily them. And they were just good behaving citizens that didn't think outside the box.
Right.
They weren't taught okay. They were taught, what do we do when we're in school? Everything we color in between those black lines. It's all about coloring in between the lines. We're not supposed to go outside of the line. We're supposed to wait in line. We're supposed to listen, to raise our hand. We're supposed to wait our turn. We're not supposed to do anything outside of that box.
Oh my gosh. And I think like it's for myself, like I've done all the things outside the box.
Me too.
Which is like, challenging all the social norms and authority and whatever, and like the whys. Like I think everything should be questioned. Like, why is this way? Like, who says this has to be this way or whatever? As long as you're not out there hurting anybody or whatever, then who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're just gonna find out more and more and more, right?
And what I was saying too is, I love this saying. I always say, that's what they say. Well, who are they anyway? I mean, we're they. The new they is us.
Yeah, there you go.
We're the leaders. We're the role models now because A, they're trying to destroy history, and B, they're trying to cover everything up, and C, they're planting all kinds of crazy disinformation. So we are the ones that are holding the light, the codes, the information, the knowledge, the legacy, the lineage, and that we're putting on social media to be able to have a footprint. That even could be taken away. So you better hold it. You better hold it within, and you better be able to seed that with the people that you run into wherever you go.
Yeah.
Because it's Twilight Zone where that man had his bifocals and he was like reading all the books, and then his glasses broke because he was in. Did you know that one? Did you ever see that?
No, I'm not familiar, but I can understand the metaphor that you're saying. Yeah.
There was a nuclear bomb. And he was the only one that was in sort of a safe house, and he had all his books. And he was so hungry for just those books. And the bifocals ended up breaking. So there he was in a bomb shelter. Who the fuck cares?
Right.
If you keep it inside and be selfish, you got to implement it. You got to integrate it.
Yeah.
You got to walk out on the street and start dancing on the beach. Make people a little uncomfortable, because that's inspiring to a lot of people, and it helps people for them to be a lot more courageous with their gifts and their talents. Because you look at somebody and they could be dressed in their full on, rad Patagonia head to toe. They're looking so svelte and suave and all that good stuff, and you have no idea that they're at home at night running around their apartment naked, painting this incredible painting or singing amazing music. And what good is all that stuff if you can't monetize it and put it out there, and most importantly share it, and actually have it be not secret, so that you can help others to free, because we don't feel well unless we're expressing, especially artists. And believe you me, we're all artists.
Everyone.
We just forgot. And that reminds me of this cute look we're looking at here. Time for crayons.
So
that one keeps staring at me. I have my art supply by the door, and I'm like, I know I'm supposed to be painting.
So this is part of that too, like what I got from the crayons thing. Like, you're supposed to approach everything like a child with a child's imagination, right?
Exactly.
And acceptance of everything for just what it is. Like, and in unconditional love as well, because that's what kids are, man. They're so forgiving. They're so all of those, And
that's why I love.
Huh? What was that?
Why I love kids.
Oh yeah, me too. Right. I love my son very much, and
love my daughter very much.
Yeah, like he's the coolest. He's a shithead every now and then, but like that's just how it goes.
So they're really cute cards that are sticking out. One, I like this one, and I wanted to ask you this because I wanted to ask this of myself, and I haven't asked it yet. Everybody, name your higher self.
Oh, give it a name? Is that what you're saying?
That's what the card says.
Mm-hmm.
Name your higher self. And then the other one I have is, you're the boss.
Mm. Yeah.
Super Empress energy. So Emperor and Empress.
Mm-hmm.
So time for crayons. You're the boss, and name yourself, and make a note of it, because when you write things down,
Yes.
it has a whole new spin and a power. So
Mm-hmm.
I gotta think on that, naming my higher self, because
I've,
I don't know what higher self would
yeah.
be other than a yogini, goddess, divine feminine, shaman, mystic,
Oh yeah.
magician.
Like, well, I mean, that's just it, right? I don't know. I know whatever I create and put my energy into it does well. You know. So like the things just work. And that's magician stuff. Like, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
that's my deal for sure. The magician, right?
Oh, you always got magician with you.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Always, like every
I
time.
think getting it a lot lately too. So I'm super happy, because it's like, okay, I can acknowledge that part of me too.
Yeah.
What?
And being just creative and stepping into whatever, because like I didn't know shit about breath work or coaching, and then I just gained confidence in it, or whatever I was learning, and it was just like, oh, this is me now. Like I've got this, shamanic trauma healing, like all the stuff, whatever it is. The more you know, right, and the more you believe in yourself, the more others believe in you as well, because like you're being you. So.
And Spirit's bringing me to this card too, is that when we do things like we're doing today, we're talking shop.
Mm-hmm.
And we're making it more real, and we're sharing it with the collective as well.
Yes.
And it's good to do that. Good to have those conversations, because we can, and why not? It's gonna, on some level, no matter what, someone is going to be seeded today from this. And that's bringing out the sun, the inner child. Happiest card in the deck.
Yeah.
It's holographic. So rad.
Very cool card. And yeah, the sun. That's the whole point, right?
Inner child. Inner child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is the whole point. Get to the sun, right?
And the sun has a shadow. We've had a lot of eclipses, which are very, to me, metaphorical of what we're doing as a collective,
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
You get to look at all sides. We get to look at all sides.
Yes, we have the opportunity to do so. Yeah. Like, so, I love this talk again. It's always good, every time. And like, so what's your YouTube handles, all the stuff,
All across the board, I am Sunshine Seaheals. So that's Sunshine, SUNSHINE, SEA, and heals, as in not as in the shoes, but as in healing, HEALS. Okay. Sunshine Seaheals. And that is my TikTok, my YouTube, my IG, and my FB, Facebook.
Yep. And also on Purple Ocean as well. Purple Garden, Purple Ocean.
Purple Ocean as well. Yes. I'm a spiritual advisor.
Yes, exactly. So
given a lot of good downloads on that one.
Yeah.
So count on that app, or email me. You can find all my information on my social media, and I do tarot parties as well. Private tarot parties, sacred celebrations, sacred ceremonies with Reiki, with master. I'm a master tarot, master oracle, and master Reiki, and so those parties are so fun, because I show up wherever you are, girls' night in, guys' night out, girls' night in, guys' night in, like, poker, cocktails, whatever it is, Halloween celebrations, sacred celebrations, birthdays, whatever.
Yeah.
Show table, cards, crystals, bam, let's go. And it always fun time, and people just love it. It ends up, I don't need it to be, but I end up being like the hit of the party, because everybody wants to know about themselves. So it's so fun, because especially if girls are having a couple drinks, they all know about each other's boyfriends, and then it's just, or husbands, and it's just you can imagine.
Yeah.
The story, very entertaining.
Sure.
And it's very lovely. It's very enlightening. I've had a lot of laughter and some tears, but good tears and happy tears too.
Yeah.
They've helped a lot of people, and it's just fun. It's just good, clean fun. Like, it's a great theme party, and so I do that here. I live locally in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Judd, you're in Chicago?
Nope, I'm in Bloomington Normal, which is 2 hours south of Chicago. But yeah, like.
Bloomington Normal. My aunt was from Bloomington, Indiana.
Oh
so
yeah, that's a few hours away. It's not too far, but yeah.
Illinois. My lineage is from Illinois as well. They're from
Yeah.
From Madison.
Okay. Yeah.
SON.
Madison, is that what you said? Yeah.
Madison.
Okay.
Yes. And Homewood Flossmoor.
Okay. That's Chicago suburbs. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I've lived there as a kid and went to elementary school there as well, and roller skated at the roller skate
rink. Yeah, the roller rink. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Like, well, this was awesome once again. Like, thanks for being here, and doing the episode.
My family, we christened a boat there too, off Dalton Lake as well, off Lake Michigan.
Okay. Like,
yeah.
Very nice,
Yeah, like family, like seven. There were 7 in my mom's family. So.
It's a big family. Yeah.
A lot there. Yeah. So I get to talk to them often. So.
Awesome. That's important.
And I know your accent. I feel it. I feel connected to it. I had some good times going to school there. It was fun.
My accent, I don't even know if I have. It's me talking, right? Like I don't hear one, but I've heard that before, actually, though too. So
I'm giving Reiki before we sign off. So
okay.
How fun was this? I'm so happy. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your world, your spiritual journey, working with me and being a dear friend. I really, really just love you to the moon and back, dude. I love you so much.
Yes, you too. Like, I love you too. That was awesome. Like, it's always good to talk and everything and connect, so.
So I don't care what anybody says. You guys get off his back. He's one of the best guys ever. He's for a real man that's moving forward into his divine masculine. So you better watch out. Look out. Yeah. He's my brother.
All right. Well, thanks, and holy shit, this is great. So
thank you so much.
Anyways, well, thank you. All right. So this has been another episode of Spiritual AF, and thanks for joining us, and namaste.